Money. It affects our everyday life. But how do we make more of it? Manage it. And make sure we make the most of our money. Welcome to Money Mindful, a podcast to teach and support you as you learn to manage your money.
Hello and welcome to the Money Mindful podcast. I am your host, Megan Jean Smith. I'm a money mindset and life coach for women. I help you right here on the podcast break up with not enough mentality, and I teach you the tools you need to live a life with enough time, enough money, and confidence. And outside of the podcast, I run a 6-month in-depth coaching program. And this is for women who are really ready to work on themselves, to create this in their life, to create enough time, to create enough money, to create enough confidence in themselves to live an extraordinary life on purpose, intentionally. And it doesn't mean that your life is not good already, but it's really taking your good life to great. So if you're listening to me now, which obviously you are, I already think of you as my client and you get to work with me free every week. But I'd like to invite you to take this work deeper with me, to work one-on-one with me weekly. I run a 6-month program. So if that sounds like a hell yes for you, I would love to invite you to book a consultation with me. This is the first step in getting to know me and learning what it would be like to work together. And I also help you bridge the gap in that call, in that very first call, from where you are now, exactly where you are in your life and what you're struggling with, and where you want to be in your life and how to actually create that. And if we're hell yes, 2 peas in a pod fit, and I know exactly how to help you create that, then I will invite you to work with me in my program. You can find out all about how to book a consult and actually just book one because it's so easy on my website. That's meganjsmith.com, meganjsmith.com. Okay. So one of the most common mindset areas that my one-to-one clients want to work on is shifting out of scarcity or lack mindset into abundant mindset. Now, scarcity mindset and abundant mindset go by lots of other names, right? So it could be that they feel like they're in not enough mentality. So they want to do something in their business, but they're not really feeling good enough. Like it's like the way they market isn't good enough, or something about them isn't good enough, or they'd be getting more clients, or they need to lose some weight because they're not feeling good enough in their body, or areas along those lines. And when we want to create those things in our life, it's much easier to create them when we're in abundant mindset. So when we already feel like we are enough, we show up a lot differently when we're trying to create new clients, or when we're applying for a job at a new company, or when we want to lose weight. If we already feel good enough, like we already feel like we're in that abundant mindset, it's so much easier to create what we actually want. So I have made an abundant mindset toolkit for you because I really want to help you shift out of scarcity mindset. And listen, if you're in scarcity mindset, nothing's gone wrong here. We all have scarcity mindset. It's just like all of us have positive and negative thoughts. We don't turn off what am I trying to say? We don't turn off a switch and suddenly not have scarcity mindset. It's just a state of mind, And the best way to get out of it is just to learn to identify it so you can turn the dial down on scarcity and turn the dial up on abundance. So over the next 4 weeks, I'm going to be taking you through 4 of the 10 exercises and concepts that are included in this toolkit that I have made for you. But you don't have to wait to get all the exercises over the next 4 weeks. In fact, I'm not even going to tell you all the exercises on the podcast and take you through them because I've made this toolkit for you. But if you want to get a hold of the toolkit now, it's called the Abundant Mindset Toolkit, and it's my top 10 most practical and powerful exercises to rapidly shift you out of scarcity mindset. You can simply go to the Money Mindful website, that's moneymindful.com.au/abundant mindset, and you can download the toolkit today. In fact, I suggest you do that because over the coming weeks, I'm going to go through 4 of the exercises with you here on the podcast. I'm going to keep it really short, sharp, and sweet. So you just get the exercise and you can apply it straight away in your life. But you'll also have the toolkit and you can pick any of the exercises and work on them straight away. Okay, so today I just really want to set you up for success, and I want to take you through understanding what scarcity mindset actually is. Like, what the heck is it? You probably hear me talking about it all the time, but sometimes it's like, can you just explain it, please? Because I sort of get an intellectual idea of it, but how does it actually apply to me in my life? So today I want to share with you what scarcity mindset is. How do you know if you're in scarcity mindset? So how to identify it, and how can you shift out of scarcity mindset? And then I want to give you some little tips about how to get the most out of the toolkit, because I'm just assuming that if you're still with me now listening, you're going to want to go and get that toolkit so you have access to all 10 exercises and concepts. Some of them are like concepts that you apply, but I've called them exercises. Okay, so let's get into discussing what is scarcity mindset. Scarcity mindset has many names. Okay, some people call it not enough mentality, lack, feeling insufficient or feeling inadequate or feeling insecure about yourself and your abilities or just your self-concept of yourself. Whatever you want to call it is fine. I'm just going to call it scarcity mindset for the sake of this podcast and toolkit, okay? Scarcity mindset is a state of being. It's formed by the way we think. Now, it's often associated with money, but it shows up in all areas of our life. It's not just about thinking that you don't have enough money. Okay, it can also be about thinking that you're not good enough, right? Like you're in the lunchroom at work and everybody's chatting, but you've got this little like thought just at the back of your mind, like, I want to join in with them, but you know, they're not going to listen. What I've got to say won't be interesting to them, right? Have you ever had a thought like that? Like just something that sort of triggers you or just kind of lingers around the back of your mind, like where you feel a sense of insufficiency or inadequacy with other people or with something that you're doing. It's like you write something for work or you do a presentation for work and you think, yeah, but it probably I could have probably done better, right? That's scarcity mindset. So it can show up in really simple ways, like having to put heaps of food on your plate because you're worried that you're going to miss out. That's scarcity mindset, right? So it's not like a really terrible, bad thing. I'm not trying to make it out like it's this disease in our mind that we have to extinguish. No, it's not that. It's just a way, it's a state of being, it's a way of thinking. Okay, but often scarcity mindset holds us back from creating what we want. Because when we're in scarcity mindset, we can either stop ourselves from taking the actions that we want to take. For example, let's say you've got an idea that you want to start a podcast, but you're thinking, who would want to listen to me? Right? What I've got to say is not really important. That's scarcity mindset. And so when you buy into that, you can quite literally stop yourself creating something that you want to do in your life because you believe your thoughts. Okay, so this is why it's super important to learn how to identify if you're in scarcity mindset so you can do something about it, because it's absolutely 100% learnable to shift out of scarcity mindset, right? And I've given lots of examples before on the podcast previously where it's not the quantity of something. It's not the amount of money you have, or it's not the numbers on the scale, right? If we're talking weight loss, it's about your state of mind, because one person can get on the scales and weigh, 64 kilograms and think, woohoo, wow, I'm so thin, I'm amazing, I can't believe I'm 64 kilos. And then someone else could get on the scales and weigh 64 kilos and think, oh my gosh, I'm so fat, look at my fat arms, right? It's not a quantity. It's the same thing. You could have $1,000 in the bank and be feeling really abundant and really proud of yourself that you've created that money, but someone else could have $1,000 in the bank and be totally stressed. Or you, in the same situation, depending on how you look at it, could have $1,000 in the bank and feel stressed and lack and like it's not good enough and you haven't saved enough money. But you can shift that thinking to be the exact opposite. Like, wow, that's so cool. I've got $1,000 in the bank, right? It's a state of being. It's a way of thinking. So how do you know if you're in scarcity mindset? Let's talk about that. Now, the most common indicators are if you find yourself thinking things like, I don't have enough, right? Like, I don't have enough money, or I'm not confident enough to ask for a promotion at work. What if they say no, right? I don't have enough time to learn about investing in shares, or I don't have enough time to create a podcast, or I couldn't possibly leave my job to start a business because I don't have the skills. I don't have enough skills to create a business, right? That's all scarcity thinking. It's whenever you think that there's not enough of something, or that there's not enough to go around. And it takes some practice, like developing awareness of it and learning how to dial it down. And this is what this abundance toolkit is for. It's filled with the top 10 exercises that I know that I can explain to you easily, like in a toolkit, that you can do to start shifting yourself out of thinking in this scarcity way, right? I have scarcity mindset. Okay, the difference is just learning how to know when you're showing up in scarcity, right? Like to be onto yourself so you can change. So how can you shift out of it? Well, the first thing is to know that you're in it, right? To create some awareness around it. I'm moving papers around. If you might be able to hear me rustling. It's first of all, just knowing how to identify that you're in it. Like, that's really just powerful in of itself, because when you know, okay, all right, I think I'm coming from scarcity mindset here, then you can do something about it. Because if you've got no idea that you're in scarcity mindset, you can't do anything about it because you don't even realize that you're in scarcity mindset. Now, one of the things that our brain does is, if you think of our brain like a computer program, right? It likes to be efficient. It likes to do things in a way that conserves energy, and it will follow the program that it's been programmed to do. Now, this isn't an opportunity to start judging yourself. So if you think that you are in scarcity mindset in some areas, like you think you're not good enough, like your body's not good enough, or you don't have enough of a net worth, like you're in your 40s already, you should have more money put aside, or why didn't you sort out your financial stuff years ago, right? Like all of that, that's scarcity thinking, okay? We don't need to beat ourselves up about it, but if you don't realize that you're in that frame of mind, you don't have any power to change it. Now, when our brain thinks these thoughts like, my body's not good enough, or I don't like my body, something like that, it will just continue to think that thought. All right. Your brain's not judging that thought as in it's good or bad. It's just delivering that thought over and over again because that's what you've been programmed to do. And it will just keep looping those thoughts in your brain. Like, how many times have you thought, I don't have enough money? Like, I still think that a lot. Right? I really have to work on thinking that I do. And it's amazing, like at every income level, you can still think this same thought, right? So what we want to do to shift you out of scarcity mindset is give your brain some new thoughts to think. Let's reprogram your brain. We want to reprogram your brain with another way of thinking. Because we get good at what we practice, and we're always practicing something. So you can continue to always practice scarcity mindset thinking thoughts, or you can start practicing abundant thoughts. Now, we're not just trying to push aside the scarcity thoughts and pretend we don't believe them or we never think them. Okay, that's not what we're trying to do here, but we want to give some equal airtime to abundant thinking and equal airtime to creating that abundance program, if you will, in our brain. Because every time we switch on the computer, so to speak, we're always turning on that scarcity mindset program, right? But we want to access the abundance program, and we want to start switching that one on so we have access to that, at least equal access, right? We don't have to get rid of the scarcity mindset altogether, but we want to know how to shift out of it and shift into abundance easily. Okay, so how to get the most out of the toolkit. So the toolkit is 10 exercises and concepts to help you shift into abundance mindset, right? It's as simple as that. Now, everybody's different. What really resonates for me might not necessarily be the number one exercise that resonates with you. There's no right or wrong way to shift out of scarcity mindset into abundance. If you have a way that works for you, that's the right way. So I really want to encourage you to approach the exercises in the toolkit with an open mind, with curiosity. Give it a go, practice them, and then make them work for you. These exercises are to be used for you, not against you. So if any of the exercises just don't sit right with you, or they feel like, I just can't relate to this one, just don't do that one. Like, it's no big deal. Nothing's gone wrong. Like, just tweak it to suit you, right? Because this is for you to get these results in your life so you can create what you want, so you can make the money that you want, so you can feel the confidence that you want to feel in your everyday life, so you can feel love for yourself instead of beating yourself up all the time, right? It's shifting into a new way of being. And it's really simple. All these exercises are actually quite simple, but they do require work. Okay? They require practice, and some of them are ones that I would recommend you do daily. Okay? So I'm going to leave it there. Next week, I'm going to go through exercise 1. I'm going to take you through 4 exercises over the next 4 weeks. All right. You can download the toolkit today by going to moneymindful.com.au/abundance mindset. And I think it's 13 pages. I explain to you what I've just explained to you today on the podcast, and then there's 10 exercises in there. So you've got more than enough material. Like, there's abundance for you, like 10 different exercises that you can do to train your brain to turn the dial down on scarcity. Like, we're not trying to eliminate it from our lives. We're not trying to get rid of it like it's this big, bad, evil thing. We're just turning down the volume on scarcity, and we're turning up the volume on abundance. This is totally possible for you to create whatever you want in your life. But if you have been in a scarcity mindset for a long time, let's say, or if you weren't even aware that you were in it, and now you want to shift out of it, have some compassion for yourself, have some patience, and do the work. It's like any new thing that you learn, any new skill that you learn, take some practice, right? So if you do some of the exercises and you don't feel like $1 million the next day, nothing's gone wrong. It's okay. But having said that, these exercises can actually shift you instantly. Like, when you start thinking differently, you create different emotions in your body. So you can quite literally do one of these exercises and feel different instantly. But it's all on you in terms of how far you want to take it, how deep you want to take it. If you take the exercises really seriously and really apply them, some of them, especially the gratitude exercise, that's one I would recommend doing every single day. It's totally available to you. It's totally possible. You just got to do the work. All right, I can't wait for you to get this abundance toolkit in your hand, because I do these exercises. Everything that is in this toolkit I have done, and I have used it to do things like double my revenue in my business, right? I did that at the start of this year. I really wanted to increase my income and just shift out of I really want to shift into the next level of my thinking around my business. And particularly, I think it's exercise number 1 I worked on. I'm just having a look for you. Yeah, I have more than enough for today. That's exercise number 1. I applied that. I did that exercise, like that way of thinking, every day at the start of this year, and I doubled my revenue by doing that. So it's not about just magically thinking differently. It's about thinking differently. And then when you think differently, you feel differently and you show up differently. You might not necessarily take a lot of different action, but the way that you show up when you take the action changes. And that's how you get different results. Okay? All right. Now, before I let you go, I want to tell you about the Mind Over Money Summit. My friend Lay Lopez has brought together 28 plus top experts and influencers for this complimentary training series on removing prosperity blocks and managing the mindset and the energy to create wealth and abundance in your life. Now, I am actually one of the speakers. So I want you to know all about it. It is happening, the summit dates, it's a virtual event online. It is free. The dates run from July 5th to July 18th. Now, there's a registration page that you can sign up for that, and I'm actually going to be sending you an email about that this week. So if you want to know more about the Mind Over Money Masterclass series, the summit that's happening, make sure you're on my email list. Now, after listening to today, if you're already like, right, I'm going straight out and signing up to get the Abundant Mindset Toolkit, you will automatically be added to my email list. And so you will receive the email about the summit. There's some really cool speakers. There's going to be people talking about rewiring for wealth, money mastery, owning your financial future, tapping into abundance. And I'm going to be talking about 3 things you must know to create wealth and abundance in life. So make sure you're on my email list. Get yourself that Abundant Mindset Toolkit. And until I speak to you again, have a beautiful week. Bye-bye.
Thanks for listening to the Money Mindful podcast. For more info, visit moneymindful.com.au. For future episodes, be sure to subscribe. And remember, the information in this podcast is of a general nature only and does not take into account your personal circumstances or goals. Please seek professional advice for your own financial needs. Remember to have fun along the way.